So students have been telling me, Mr. Cox, learning a foreign language is too simple and easy. Can you throw a wrench in the works? So, here we go. Saber versus conocer. Both of them mean to know. Kind of like ser and estar both mean to be. And you have to know when to use one and when to use the other. And how do you know? Well, here's an example. All right, let's get into it. Saber and conocer. But watch out. The dinosaurs can smell fear. So, both saber and conocer mean to know. When do we use one? When do we use the other? Well, for saber, we use it when we talk about knowing facts or information. So if I know something, or if I know about something, that's saber. I also use saber for knowing how to do something. So for example, I could say, I could add saber and the infinitive for whatever I know how to do, the conjugated form of saber plus the infinitive. Here's an example. Yo sé hablar español. I know how to talk Spanish. I've got the irregular yo form of saber, sé, I know, yo sé, and then just tack on the infinitive for whatever it is you know how to do. Yo sé hablar español. I know how to talk Spanish. Conocer is used when knowing people or places. And here's some examples. Yo conozco a Pepe. I know Pepe. That extra a there is called the personal a, and we use it whenever we are whenever a person is the direct object of a verb. So in this case, I know someone who is known, who is being known. Well, Pepe, since he's the direct object, he's the thing receiving the action of the verb. We put an a in there. It's just a glue word. So, and it's called the personal a. We use it whenever we're talking about a person as a direct object. Yo conozco a Pepe. We don't need that when we're talking when a place is a direct object. So ella conoce Chandler works just fine. In either of these cases, we're talking about knowing or being familiar with a person or a place. You might think of this as kind of in the sense of being acquainted with. So if I'm acquainted with Pepe, I know him, then use conocer. If I'm acquainted with a place like, oh yeah, I've been to Chandler, I know Chandler, then use conocer. Let's get down the conjugation charts for each of these verbs. Saber, let's see. The yo form is irregular, yo sé, and the nosotros form is regular, nosotros sabemos. Everything else in this verb conjugates like a regular ER verb. Tú sabes, vosotros sabéis, ella, él, or usted sabe, and ustedes, ellos, or ellas saben. So, saber, just a regular ER verb, except for the yo form, which just wanted to be a little funky, and it's yo sé, with an accent on the E. Conocer follows the same pattern. It's a completely regular ER verb, except for the yo form, which is yo conozco. And I believe that's because, in part at least, if we were to try to conjugate conocer normally, you would drop the er and add an o, and you would end up with yo conozco. But that doesn't fit with the pronunciation. The C is a soft C, so yo conozco, and that Z helps us to kind of, I don't know, make that sound. That's my theory. Anyways, everything else is regular. Nosotros conocemos, tú conoces, vosotros conocéis, ella, él, or usted conoce, and ustedes, ellos, and ellas conocen. Regular ER verb except for that irregular yo form. Make sure you've got those rules and examples written down, and make sure you've got the saber and conocer verb conjugation charts written down, and be prepared to practice these and test your knowledge with them. Now, before we go, T-Rex wants to say adios. Bye, T-Rex.